But what are you saying about them? Well, that's where we're headed next. Head into your comments and contributions on this part of the show. And of course, Jeffrey joins me to walk through that. Jeffrey.
Absolutely. Loads of things you always talk about. Responsibility is always the same, to share them with you and with everyone else who was not following through, to amplify your voice, especially on X. So that's where we're going to we'll get started. The flooding in Lagos, naturally. But before we jump to the flooding, congratulations to Finidi George, by the way. He's got himself a new job. Even
so when another
like
door
downgrade,
another opens.
I don't know. All right, so let's get straight to it. The flooding in Lagos, and it rained. They used to say cat and dog. Is this still in English?
Well, I don't think
is the English.
It rained way more than that in Lagos.
Okay.
And there's a saying, by the way, where I'm from, that whatever's coming from up there, the ground is always ready to receive it. But it wasn't entirely the case yesterday in Lagos.
Okay, let's hear what Mr. Gerald says. He said, every year, Lagos State faces the same issue. Houses were demolished to avoid this. Yet it seems it's worse this year. Every year, citizens lose billions because of the flood.
But take a look at what this user says. Life is wealth. It's quite interesting. And it says, we are the cause of the flood due to dumping waste indiscriminately. Well, you need to properly contextualize this we. First, I do not dump waste indiscriminately. Secondly, it's a multidimensional issue. But I think I get the point this user is trying to make.
Citizens should take responsibility.
Yeah, but I'm removing myself from that one.
Gradual says, with loads of numbers, Lagos State government demolishes houses built on drainages. That's like call and response kind of conversation. They are tagging us, so they hate us, they are chasing us out of Lagos. Nigeria is whatever that is. Rainfalls, floods everywhere on the streets and roads due to drainage being blocked by houses built on drainages.
You have to speak social media lingo to really understand that particular post. But take a look at what this next user has to say. Lab_well says, flooding is a natural phenomenon. I guess continuing disregard for actual Lagos City plan and compliance has caused obstruction to easy passage of excess water when it rains. What this user ends by saying, enjoy. I don't know, but it looks like a lot of people are excited or gloating about this. I don't know.
I don't understand.
It comes across as that.
Didi Joseph says, what will it take to clear out the gutters for the start safe? There are no gutters and drainages. It's so crazy how they can't fix this. It's getting worse every year.
True aficionado re-echoes that point. All the drainages are blocked with dirt, manner of speaking, I should say. How can water then flow freely? This user says people dump dirt on the drainage, and that's what the Commissioner for Environment is supposed to take seriously and not to demolish people's property. So it's really finding the delicate balance and looking for creative ways, and I think that's the point being made here. But not to worry, these questions will be put to the government and even the opposition this morning, and the idea is to find a solution. So don't worry, those questions will be asked.
At the end of the day, I hope that this government will do their part as well, just like citizens have to do their part, because the argument has always been, why wait for the building to get high up there and people have started living in it before you go to demolish? That is totally unacceptable, and it speaks to some of the rot in the system, because someone may have approved that facility or that building, or someone is not supervising enough to ensure that building doesn't go up as it should. But let's move on now. Something happened in Benin City yesterday. The students came out to protest in front of their gate. As always, if you use that road heading to either Lagos, you're going to other parts of the south, they blocked that UNIBEN gate, protesting
and by extension, the one part of the expressway.
Yes. And what was the protest all about? They said they've not had light for a long time, maybe about 3 weeks. But the university senate is saying that the electricity bill is in the range of 200 million. Expecting so much power is not realistic for them because of their wage bill. That's on one hand. The students, of course, they will do what they have to do. But let's hear what you're saying. Tunde Adeleke says an emergency Senate meeting should be summoned by the Vice Chancellor. UNIBEN cannot afford to pay a monthly electricity bill of 300 million naira. The students should be patient with management, otherwise they should be asked to go home to enjoy 24-hour Power supply.
24/7
power supply.
It's ironic, Jeffrey. I mean, schools have the departments and faculties of engineering.
And electrical.
So you teach students how to generate power, how to do all of these things, but you still find...
Why can't universities generate their own power?
Don't generate power. It's just mind-boggling. And students have to boil their beans, Jeffrey. Students have to iron their clothes. They have to boil their water.
You have to go there.
I mean, this is what you have to do.
And it's raining now.
Exactly.
So everybody
you need that power by all means. Take a look at what Ajibola Aking says, is preventing the right of way of others going to solve the issue on the ground, and asks, why are we always like this? But again, I say...
But that is what protests... It beats me when people act like... It's like a politician making a political move and you're surprised that he's making a political move. That is the intention. Protest is supposed to obstruct something, inconvenience people.
But then, I'm saying where your right ends and where mine starts.
I said that is what protest is actually all about. If protest is about everybody should be cool and going, nobody's going to get a result out of protest. That's why we say it should be, the key word is peaceful.
Right.
That's the key word. So when you say they blocked road, stopping others, that's the idea for them.
Jeffrey, do you have a placard behind you?
I don't know. I'm just saying. Alfonso says, big 2024 and we're still having light issues in UNIBEN. A month to exams and we don't have light and you expect students to come and write exams. Hostel lights can't even get water to have their bath or cook.
So there's a lot about that, but the point we're trying to make is we shouldn't be here, obviously. So we need this to be resolved for the students, for the school, and for people plying that route. But we move on to yet another one. This one is about a planned protest, and the EFCC is warning promoters of a planned protest. And the EFCC in a statement said they believe that these people are trying to pick up arms to protest. So take a look at what people have to say about this. Simeon Official 3 says, we understand the EFCC's commitment to fighting corruption and cybercrime, and we appreciate their efforts to protect the future of Nigerian youth. However, we also urge the Commission to ensure that their measures are balanced with the needs to respect human rights, and I think that's at the heart of this issue.
I've never seen where EFCC issues statements about protests. I think this is my first time. I'm used to the DSS doing this, so... and sometimes when you invite these guys to come and talk, let me not call them out, by the way. Sukodiga says, how has protesting been a crime? Why don't you want citizens to protest? Have you discharged your duties in the right manner? If yes, why should a protest be an issue of concern to you? For you, citizens have the right to do whatever they want. You keep on discharging your duties the best way you fit. Best way fit, I guess so. Nigeria is not a banana republic. As we say, if your protest just moves from whatever it is to non-peaceful, then it's unacceptable. So let's be clear.
It is indeed. So, I mean, it's obvious that there are things that need to be done. By the way, those officers that were arrested, what is being done?
Yes, the one that harassed the lady.
Exactly. So these are things people need to hear. Put it out there. Let people know what you're doing to ensure these things don't happen again. It's a no-brainer.
And the EFCC has to be careful in terms of what their reputation is turning into. It's an institution of Nigeria. So we must protect that institution.
Yeah. And the eagle, as we always call it.
And must weed out the bad elements, because sometimes you're worried if I go to a hotel with my wife and we're having a good time, and then because of 1-2 persons doing whatever, you barge into my room. That's not going to be funny. We're going to take it as far as we can go.
Jeffrey said so, and I think that's, of course, the thinking of a lot of people. But let's move on to the aftermath of, yet again, the rain in Lagos. 7 rescued as 2-story building collapses in Lagos. And you see, Trust Issue _T has the first one. Says it's obvious that this is as a result of the heavy downpour. The building might as well be marked for demolition by LAPSCA. Says, but they won't listen? Okay.
All right. NUI _ said they are just quick to build and collect rent. Quality is never their problem.
Okay, so let's move on to something quickly. Now, this has caused a lot of conversation online, and it's the video of the president of the Senate, Fabio, at some point saying that he has no doubt that by the time President Tinubu is through with his tenure in the country 7 years from that time when he was speaking, many people will not recognize Nigeria again. So take a listen now. I'll tell you what Nigerians are saying about this.
Another major wonder of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. This is the way to cater for a city of this nature. This is a way to take care of the people of the area councils and also the FCC residents and visitors alike. So, I believe that you are a square peg in a square hole. And I must thank the president for having the eyes to pinpoint those who can perform and bring in them. He did this in Lagos, and today Lagos is one of the best, one of the largest economies in the whole of Africa when we are talking about cities. I have no doubt that by the time this president is through with his tenure in this country, 7 years from today, many people will not recognize FCT. They will not recognize Nigeria again. So all I can say is let us continue to pray for him.
You know, that's what I say. Politicians will always be politicians. That's a politician talking. What do you expect him to say? Umahi say he even had a vision also, if I am correct, and all of that. These are politicians. They will have to say what they have to say. But what are you saying?
Exactly, and that's how we're approaching this. So Nigerians watched that again and they thought, so this could mean two things, either of two things. So take a look at what this user says, TZ10_ saying he's speaking the fact. And this is sarcasm. We can't even recognize the country as it stands now. So you understand how people are approaching this now.
Yeah. All right. I_Lex says, with this way you people are going, no one will recognize this country in its 4 years. With this way things are going, I guess. Even Nigerians in Nigerians won't. Okay, even Nigerians in Nigeria, I guess that's what they wanted to say, won't recognize the country.
So that statement could either mean good or bad. And I think this is a wake-up call for the political leaders, everyone. We have to put all hands on deck. We can't keep doing the same things we were doing then and expect different results. Cut cost of governance. Let us see those at the very top taking the lead when it comes to setting the tone for transparency, accountability. Again, it's a no-brainer. They say governance is not rocket science.
At the end of the day, there are simple things. There are what we call intangible things that government can even do that will affect that influence the people. Sometimes we don't see these things. And it's sad to see politicians keep talking about next election, next election. This is barely a year. You haven't even done what you were elected to do yet. Some are failing. We don't want to call names, but we know the data, we know the numbers. Some of these governors and some of these leaders are failing in their duty. And tomorrow, some of them may be re-elected. We need to call them out at some point. So I think politicians should taper down on election, 8 years, 4 years. Let's get the country fixed first. And that argument will just be natural. If you did well, you get re-elected. If you didn't do well,
as simple as that.
You booted out.
So we're putting it out there yet again that this is a feeling of the people. So let's take it on board, soak it in, and ensure we do better. We'll take a moment now on the show. When we return, we're starting off with a big one, the flooding in Lagos. Solutions have been proffered in the past. So we'll walk through some of those solutions again. Then we'll hear from government. So don't go anywhere. It's a big one right here on the Morning Brief. Stay with us.